Hey and welcome to the WildStar All You Need to Know. In this episode you will learn all about the world bosses on Nexus, and it will start in 3, 2, 1, go! First of all, the most important question. What is a world boss? Well, it's a raid encounter for about 20 players, but you will find world bosses in the open world, not in an instance. That means everyone who wants to have some fun is able to fight against them with a group of other players. There are quests and achievements for world bosses, and they have their own loot table with awesome stuff. All world bosses on Nexus are for level 50 players, so endgame raid content. In general, they are really easy to kill, because there's no player limit. You can fight with 10, 20 or 200 other people, and there's no scaling mechanism. That means the more players participate, the faster is the kill. But where can we find world bosses? Currently there are 11 different bosses on Nexus, and you can find them in almost every zone. That means there are some in low level areas as well. So probably you have already met some of them. We have Metalmore Prime at the Augment Facility X426 in White Whale, King HONEYGRAVE at the Honeyworks of WildStar in Aurora, DREAMSPORE at Glintrock Dale in Elevar. To get to him you have to walk through a tunnel in the north of Elevar. ZOETIC at the Silent Clearing in Valderan, GRENDELUS near the exosite N22 in Celestion, KRAGGAR at the Rockwide Shallow in Algorok, Metalmore at Metalmore's Cage in Deradune, King PLUSH at Stormwing Fortress in Galaras, but he lives on a really high mountain. To get to him you have to use a whirlwind behind the Falcon Throne at the fortress. SCORCHWING at SCORCHWING's Landing in Blighthaven, GARGANTUA at the Promenade of Ruin in the Defile, and MECHATHORN at the Fatalist Fields in Farsight. Maybe you have seen that there are 3 bosses in Exile zones and 3 bosses in Dominion zones. To get there fast you can use teleporters. As an Exile player you have to go to Fool's Hope in Valderan. There are 3 teleporters to Deradune, Elevar and Aurora. As a Dominion player you have to go to Pale Rock Post in White Whale. There you can find 3 teleporters to Galaras, Algorok and Celestion. Of course you can't group up with some friends and kill some world bosses to get awesome loot. Oh wait, you can. But you need a lot of time for that. In general, a world boss has a respawn timer of 24 to 36 hours, but there's a special method to summon them. At each breeding ground of a world boss there is a PROGENITOR data cache console. There you can place 75 PROGENITOR access particles. Every player can do that, it's a public event. So you can see the current amount of collected particles at your objective tracker. After reaching the 75 particles, a 2-minute countdown will start to count down, and after that the boss will appear. But how can you get the PROGENITOR access particles? Well, you only have to fight level 50 group enemies for 5 players in the open world. Unfortunately the drop rate is not really high, so you need a lot of time to farm 75 particles. The good thing is there are group enemies near the following world bosses: SCORCHWING, ZOETIC, King PLUSH and GARGANTUA. Because of that, these bosses are really popular. For all other bosses you have to farm particles elsewhere. After a group was able to defeat a world boss, no matter if it was a summoned or respawned boss, the data cache has to reset. This takes 1 hour. While the resetting process, it's not possible to summon the boss again. But now the most important thing, loot. World bosses do have open tagging. That means every player who has attacked a world boss will get a reward chest after he has been killed. No matter if an Exile or Dominion player has pulled or summoned the boss. Everyone is able to attack the boss and get loot. You can get the following things out of this chest: equipment pieces with item level 90, so they are better than veteran dungeon stuff. Custom pieces for 2 exclusive costumes, Ozone Slave and Dark Mysticon. Exclusive pets, exclusive housing decor, rune crafting materials and consumables. In addition, you will also get about 20 gold and 125 glory. Each boss has the same loot table. So with the exception of pets, you can get every world boss item from every world boss. This reward chest is only obtainable once per day. If you kill the same world boss several times on the same day, you will only get a reward chest at your first kill. If you kill different world bosses, you will get different reward chests too. Most time you will hear about world boss groups at your server's global chat channel, either when players group up to farm particles or when there is a spawned world boss. Additionally, there are 3 different contracts for world bosses. To complete them, you have to kill a world boss on Alizar, Elysia or Isigral and Farsight. If one of these tier 3 contracts is available, you will have a really high chance to find a group to kill a world boss on this day. Because they are level 90 items, world bosses are really good content for raid beginners to get some good loot. So they are for newcomers, but because of a lot of cool cosmetic items, you will also see raid equipped players who are searching for world boss groups. In general, world bosses do have mechanics, but they are really easy to understand, so you don't need a guide to learn them. The good thing is, you will fight world bosses in the open world, so if you will die, you can res yourself and run back into the fight. Actually, it's just about find a group, farm particles and kill the boss, so you shouldn't accept awesome great battles. And finally, there's one negative aspect relating to world bosses. If there are 50 or 100 players who want to fight the boss, you will have lags, because your FPS will go down to 5, 3, 2 or 1 frame per second. You can't really prevent that, so unfortunately you have to live with it. That's it, we are done. Now you should know all the important facts about world bosses on Nexus, so find some other players, hunt world bosses and get cool loot. Have fun!